Okay, so this is the M3 MacBook Air. We call these things thin and light. They can do light stuff like editing 1080p videos or even 4K sometime, surfing the internet, watching Netflix, taking notes, something like that. And they will cost you somewhere around like $999 or upwards to the $1,000 range. Then earlier this year, Apple launched this small beast. So it's a M4 Mac Mini. This one can do a lot more than your MacBook Air with a lot of more ports at the base price of 599 and 499. If you are a student, you are getting 16 GB RAM and a lot than your MacBook Air. But what if I told you today we are trying to do those similar tasks that your MacBook can do in this size computer? So this is the Raspberry Pi 5, and this is the latest single board computer from Raspberry Pi. And these are not new. They have been going around in the market since 2012. And this particular model, it's a 1 year old model. We recently got a 16 GB variant of this, and today in this video I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up these things to use as a personal or a desktop computer, and you don't need to be a tech guru to be running something like this. So without any further delay, let's get started. And one more thing, we'll be editing this whole video in this small boy. So let's get started. So basically Raspberry Pi 5 is a computer of its own. It has its own processor. It has up to 16 GB of RAM. The one that I'm holding right now has 8 GB, and it has all sort of ports. You get USB, you get Ethernet, you get M.2 PCIe slots, and then you also have Type-C port for power, and it uses a micro SD card to run its system. So firstly, let me give you a physical overview, and then we will go into how to install an operating system in this thing and how you can use it easily into your day-to-day life. Okay, so when you open this thing out of the box, you will get something like this, not this black bar. So it is a heatsink that I have pasted in top of its processor so that it can cool a bit. So before it used to look like this, and this was its CPU and RAM and everything, and now it looks like this. Then if you see, these are the faster USB 3.0 ports. With the slower one, you get a 1.5 gigabit per second Ethernet jack, and then there are some connection ports. So this one you can connect either a display or even a camera over here. And then these are the micro HDMI or mini HDMI ports, which allow you to connect it with a 4K monitor. So it supports up to two 4K monitors, and the Type-C port is for power. So one thing that you have to keep in mind is it uses specific Type-C. So you have to make sure if you have some Type-C cable lying around, it is compatible with this, or if not, you can just buy a specific Type-C cable that are built for the Raspberry Pi 5. And then over here we have SD card slot. So this is where you will store your operating system. So you can try to install different type of Linux, and there is one stable operating system made by Raspberry Pi itself for the desktop version. So today we are going to install that particular operating system, and we will have a look into it. So before start doing this, let me clean this thing a bit and put it in a case, so it'll be easier for us to. Oh, also one more thing, we have a power button somewhere over here, and this was the first Raspberry Pi to come with a power button. I do have a plastic case for this, so I'll try to install it in the plastic case. So this is how our Pi 5 looks after putting it in a small case. But before using it, we have to install the Pi OS on this little SD card. So I will be inserting this micro SD card in my Mac to install the Raspberry Pi OS in this SD card. Okay, so this is the software that we are going to use, and it's called Raspberry Pi Imager, and it will look similarly in even if you're using a Mac or a Windows. And make sure you have connected your micro SD card to your computer, then just go to choose device. Okay, so we are using Raspberry Pi 5 right now, so we'll go over there. Then for the operating system, you get a lot of options, but if you want to do it as a personal desktop computer, you have to go with the Raspberry Pi OS that works with a monitor and you don't have to use a command line or you can or a terminal to access. So this would be the one that we are going to go for. And then for the storage, so this is the SD card that I have connected over here. So I've already installed the Raspberry Pi 5, so I'm not going to press next, but you just have to press next. And I have a screen recording of it, so it will just go over here, download the OS, and it will verify that it is a real OS. Then make sure you have to back up anything important if you have in that SD card, because it will format it and reinstall the OS. And once the writing is successful, it will be installed in your computer. So once we have done that, we will take out that SD card. Okay, so we have our SD card right over here, and now we will insert it in our Pi 5. So here is our SD card. There you go. And for the power, we are using the Type-C cable that is specifically made for the Raspberry Pi 5. And we also have the micro HDMI cable that will allow us to connect this small computer with a monitor. So let me plug that in, and the Type-C for the power. So we see a red light blink, and now it's already up to green. And to connect or to control this Pi, I am going to use a wireless mouse and a keyboard. So these are generic one, you can use any one that is lying around in your house. After the initial setup, this is how it looks. So you have your start menu over here. We have some of the application. I have installed some of apps over here. So you get your web browser, the one that you choose during your installation, and it can run your basic web browsing tasks like this. And then, so this is the page where you will get to know a lot about Raspberry Pis. And then we have the benchmarking scores. So this is what it scored when I did a benchmarking test on this Raspberry Pi 5. So this is the app that you won't see when you first install your Pi 5. It's called Pi Apps, and this is what allows you to install latest apps and updates for your Pi 5. So if you want to install this, to install the Pi apps, just go to the link in the description box below, and it will go and take you to the link or the website from where you can copy the command that you have to paste in your terminal. So go over there and copy that command and paste it in your terminal, and it will install the Pi apps app for you on your Raspberry Pi 5. Now this will install the Pi apps app for you, and what this does, it has all your latest uh, and most useful apps for your Pi. So you get many games over here, and you also have programming apps. If you want to do coding, you do even have Visual Studio Code, and you even have some other system management apps. So if you want to see how we are running with that processor, we have an app called Task Manager. Also our GPU uses, so it's just like a personal computer. You might find it a bit difficult to download your regular day-to-day apps, but if you are doing if you're using Google Docs every day, then this Chromium browser will do everything for you. Your YouTube, your Netflix, everything, you can do it from right over here. And then you can download some other application that will replace few of your MS Word apps. While for video editing that we are going to do in this video, I have installed an app, and it's called the Kdenlive. So this is the app that we are going to use. Let me just execute it. So this is how we are editing the video of the Raspberry Pi 5. Yes, the fan is spinning a bit. And if you check the task manager, in the ideal situation, the CPU uses and the GPU uses are not that much. But the place where this struggled the most was a bit over here in the timeline. Okay, when we had two clips, one was of me and the other was of the screen recording. So the main reason is because the screen recording and this they were in two different format and it had to transcode this. So if I even go to the playbacks option over here, as you can see the playback is not very smooth. And if I go to task manager, I can see the CPU just go up to 74% and the GPU just come up somewhere around like 8 to 10, and half of the RAM is used. And the next space where it struggled was when I tried to speed up one of the clips where I showed uh, yes, this is the one where I was adding this into the case. So this was one of the clip where it struggled a bit and GPU and CPU uses went to our 20 to 30% range. Other than that, everything is going smooth. I can scribble around the timeline. It's not that good, but it's really usable. So I think I will be able to complete this edit today. So do let me know what did you think about the video. Did you like it or not? And also if you have any questions regarding the Raspberry Pi 5, do let me know in the comment section below. Share it with your friends, subscribe the channel if you want to see more such content, and I will see you all in my next video.